Friends, this might be very obvious to you, but it's cold outside and the sun is not showing itself very much. How do we combat that winter chill? I say we do it with warm and cozy dishes, a lovely breakfast casserole, a delicious mushroom soup with popovers, and a juicy chicken dinner. It'll surely warm you from the inside out. So fire up the oven and get ready to cook up a storm. Goodbye, winter blues.
Life can be a struggle, but a good meal doesn't have to be. We can make creative, nutritious, and inventive dishes that won't break the bank. We'll eat well and save money, because that's what we do. Welcome to Struggle Meals.
It's cold outside. We're gonna make it warm in here, and we're gonna start off the day with cinnamon roll casserole. It's a warm and delicious one-pot dish that's ooey gooey. Little ripped off pieces of bread with cinnamon. Sign me up. We start off with some bread here. Now this can be leftover stale bread. It could be challah bread. It could be hamburger or a hot dog bun. It really doesn't matter. We're gonna throw these in the oven so that we can toast them so that they retain a little bit of structure. Much like a traditional French toast, we've gotta make something to soak the bread in. We start with cream. This is gonna give us that viscous, gooey center. Package drawer butter. 1, 2, 3. A little bit of vanilla extract. Bloop, bloop. Cinnamon, very important. Some brown sugar, a tiny bit of salt, and we're gonna come in with some milk. 3 cups. 1, 2, 3. This is a bunch of fat. This is a bunch of spices. It's a little bit of salt that makes the bread soft and amazing. But it doesn't really give us the ooey gooey component. We need eggs for that. Boom, boom, bloop. We're looking for an ooey gooey, dense, incredible warmness. How do we achieve that? With a process called tempering. We've got our hot milk, cream, and spice mixture. Pour it into the eggs a little bit at a time to slowly bring the temperature of the eggs up. This way they're not shocked into becoming coagulated scrambled eggs. The eggs have not solidified. I guess you could say their mood is tempered. Look at our breads. They're crunchy, that's nice, so they're gonna have some structural integrity before we soak them with liquid, which is gonna soften them. Cast iron skillet, here we go. We're basically making bread pudding here. Let's pour our egg mixture over top. Infuse each piece with the cinnamon spiced milk cream. And now, as an exercise in patience, we let this fully soak for 20 minutes. All right, I'm done being patient. It's time to throw this into the oven. We're looking for a golden top and a set everything. At the end of the day, this is a really simple recipe, right? We throw familiar ingredients together and we bake it in the oven. But there's 2 fundamental things that we strugglers cannot overlook. Very important to pre-toast your bread. This is gonna dehydrate it a little and give it some structure. The second thing that's really important is that we temper the eggs. Slowly bring the temperature of the eggs up with your cream and cinnamon mixture, and you will have something that is like reminiscent of Victorian villas breakfast serving, even though they probably didn't have this scientific technology to make this happen then, but it feels very luxurious. That's the point I'm trying to make. The cinnamon butter aroma is intoxicating. Reminds me a lot of a cinnamon roll, so I think we should make a glaze. We've got some cream cheese here. Throw in some powdered sugar. I'm gonna mix this together. Definitely wanna make sure your cream cheese is soft so that this will work out nicely. All right, so here comes butter from the packet drawer. 1, 2, a little more vanilla extract, and 3 little tablespoons of milk here just to help us get something that's a little bit more liquidious. We've got our cream cheese sugar glaze ready. The casserole is set. It looks delicious. Let's cut into it. Crunchy on top, gooey in the middle. That's how I like it. It smells really warm and cozy, and I think part of it is that really soft but cooked center. It's intoxicating. Let's get some glaze on there. Oh my goodness. I ain't done yet. Just a little bit more cinnamon. Oh. All right, listen, I overdid it a little bit. Maybe it's extra warm and cozy. That's totally fine. This is coming to 91 cents a serving. It was easy to make. My home is filled with cinnamony aromas, and everybody's like, ooh, what's that? May I have some? And the answer, of course, is yes, because I've got 8 servings here. Let's cut into this and see how it tastes. Gotta love it. Soft and crunchy, cozy and comforting. Set me up with a cup of Java and I'm like ready for the next 2 warm and cozy dishes. Apple cider vinegar. It's one of those magical pantry items that has a whole bunch of tricks up its sleeve, and it's really versatile.
Out of buttermilk?
Add a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar to a cup of milk, let it sit for a few minutes, and then you've got an easy substitute for buttermilk. Sauce or soup too salty? Add a splash, and the acid will help balance it out. It's also good for more than cooking. Create an all-purpose household cleaner with a 1-to-1 ratio of vinegar to water. It has antibacterial qualities and can be used on stoves, countertops, cutting boards, mirrors, and bathrooms. Grease, be gone! You can also use it to deodorize your washing machine and dishwasher, if you have those. And you can even use it to make a little trap to attract those pesky fruit flies. Apple cider vinegar. You should never go without it in your pantry because it might just save your day. Do you know what happens in the wintertime in the Northern Hemisphere? Things get really, really cold. And I'm here to melt away the real and figments of your imagination with wild rice mushroom soup. For years, I've been cooking wild rice and the aroma is very woody and I never really understood why. And then one day I found out that wild rice isn't in fact rice, but it's seeds. So we start with wild rice here. It's pre-soaked already. Putting in our water. I'm gonna bring that up to a boil and then I'm gonna lower it to a simmer and put the top on. But the best part about the wild rice is that because it comes from the seed family, the structure holds up really, really well in a soup. And seeds have structure. They have integrity. Let's get the base of our soup going. Mushrooms, delicious meaty flavor without having meat, and loaded with vitamin D, which we're all in need of in the cold winter months. Let's chop these up. I've got cremini mushrooms here. They've got just the right amount of flavor, not too mushroomy. Slice some garlic. The anti-onion crier 7400. Take that, my nemesis. It's making its way around the mask. I just can't seem to beat it. Let's get our pan hot. Packet drawer butters in. 1, 2, 3. The rice is boiling. Let's lower it down to a simmer. Butter is melted. Garlic in. Let's get some onions in. Hit it with some salt, a little pep. Let's throw those mushrooms in there. It's gonna help soften the onion and garlic even further. Our mushrooms have cooked down quite a bit. Optional step, I'm a big fan of screw top white wine. This is called deglazing. The idea being that when we just cooked the onion, garlic, and mushrooms in the pan along with the butter, little brown bits called souks were forming on the bottom of the pan. Well, that's flavor and we want it. I'm gonna drop the stock. Drop the water. We can totally dilute this with water and stretch this soup. I think it's a good move. Let's add some carrots. I think it's really lovely to put them in at this stage because they're gonna hold their texture much better and add color and sweetness. When I think of delightful, wintry herbs, thyme comes to mind. And of course you could buy this and have it dried or you could buy it fresh, but I think you should grow your own. It's a much better bang for your buck. So, to the Struggle Herb Garden. And here we have some gorgeous thyme. I think my favorite part about growing it myself is that it's super vibrant. It's been waiting for me to pick it. It's not slowly dying inside of a petroleum-made package. We're gonna get this lemony, yet also deep, dark forest flavor. Interplays with the mushrooms really, really nicely. Personally, I think it elevates their flavor to excellent status. Last but not least, a bay leaf. This one isn't edible. We're gonna have to fish it out after. Thyme and bay, those are little things. Can you do without them? Yes. Will it be as good? We're gonna bring this up to a boil. You know what the only thing better than soup is? Soup with a homemade roll. And that's why I'm gonna show you how to make sort of a version of that. It's called a popover. It's a delicious, eggy, moist, easy to make sort of bread thing that's hollow in the middle. And the Brits love this with their soup. And I think that that's probably a good thing because they have terribly cold weather a lot of the year. First thing we need to do is preheat the muffin tin. This has gotta be hot. We start with eggs. Bloop. Milk. Let's whisk this together. Throw a tablespoon of melted butter into there and some salt and some thyme. Get some flour in there. It's very important that this batter is smooth. If you have clumps of flour in there, it's not gonna cook right. It's not gonna pop over. That's nice and smooth. Okay, pan is hot. And now we're gonna work quickly. We're gonna put a little bit of butter into each one of these things. The second the batter hits this, it's gonna start rising. That's how we get the popover lift. cup. Work swiftly. Into the oven. Quickly! The popovers go in the oven at 400 degrees for 20 minutes. That's gonna give them this oven spring that makes them pop up. And then for the last 10 minutes, we're gonna turn it down to 350. No oven door peeking. We need these things to stay hot. Let's finish this thing off. I'm gonna throw in some cream. It's gonna give us a really nice color, more body, more flavor, more warmness. We're just gonna hit it with a little bit of apple cider vinegar. 1, 2. And we put in heavy cream, apple cider vinegar. What happens? Flavor stretches open. Bay leaf coming out. Here's our rice. Texture looks great. Let's give it a little taste. Maybe the tiniest bit more salt. All right, these guys are all done. Let's pop them out of the oven. Oh, softness to the nth degree. Popovers / Yorkshire pudding. Our warm mushroom and wild rice soup with popovers. And it comes together for $2.69. Let's have a bite. Oh, calming, glorious. It's so soft and warm in the middle. Can you see the heat coming off of it? Here. Mmm. The thyme in this is delicious. So light, so fluffy, so homey. It's delicious. We've got the hardiness of mushroom and thyme. Then we've got even more warmth. That's the rice that's in there. And then finally, the popovers. What a delicious and fun treat to dip in or eat as a side dish. Why wouldn't you warm your body from the inside out with this dish? Up next, a warm and cozy challenge. Now it's time for a struggle challenge. Maria writes, I have an abundance of oats. What's something creative I can make besides your standard oatmeal? Maybe something savory. Maria, you're in luck. I've been testing out a lot of things with oats lately. Let's see what you've got in your fridge. Haha, oats. Thyme, parsley, broth, avocados, carrots. We've got various alliums, onions, shallots, garlic, some kind of greens, and huevos. Okay, so we've really got to figure out how to transform this ingredient into something that is a savory. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to treat the oats as if they were a grain, put together with carrots, onion, garlic. We'll throw some greens in there and the stock. And then I'm going to make little nestles, crack some eggs to it, and we're going to do eggs in a bowl of oatmeal purgatory. All right, we better get started. Let's get the cast iron pan hot, and let's cut up some carrots. Using the alligator knife technique, the end of my blade is acting as a pivot point. Oil. Garlic. We put it with the carrots. I'm thinking I'll use the shallot. Very nice. Some salt in there. I want to put some thyme in with the carrots. We put a little chili powder. We make it spicy. I want caramelized bits. I want those onions to start getting all sugary and warm and cozy. This seems a little crazy, but I'm doing it. I'm going right on top with oats. And I'm just looking to get a little bit of toast on here so we can really accentuate the savoriness that you're looking for, Maria. Some stock. This is gonna cook it all the way through. We need this to boil. The cast iron pan cover, 4300. Fun tip, if you've got a food processor, you can put the oats in there and pretty much replace any recipe that has flour 1-to-1 with the whipped up oats. It's delicious. Let's have a peek. Yeah, look at that. 3 little wells. 1, 2, 3. Crack some eggs into there. Hit these guys with salt. Boom. Boom. Put some pepper in there too. And let's throw it in the oven. We got a lot of brown, white, and yellow happening. I think it's time to get some green in there, so let's make some toppings for this. We do have these avocados, and you all know about avocados. Not ready, not ready, not ready, just right, too late. Well, now they're just right, which means I need to use them now. We're making the wings of an angel here because our eggs are, after all, in purgatory, and they would like to get to heaven. So here is their opportunity to do so. Let's get the greens going. And we're gonna make a spicy dressing. Some apple cider vinegar, boom. Olive oil, We're gonna get some hot pepper in there. That represents the devil, of course.
Packet drawer, packet drawer, packet drawer.
How about honey mustard? Yeah, come on. Why did you let the devil tempt you? It was the honey mustard.
Mix that up.
Great. Let's get the eggs out. Let's get our angel wings on there. Some greens around the outside. You see, the eggs are encircled by the temptation of hell, the spicy greens, and the possibilities of heaven, avocado plant fats. Let's cut up a piece. Packet drawer hot sauce. Lucifer has spoken.
There we go. Oh, baby.
Okay, so how does it look? I'm giving it a 6. It's pretty ugly. Do savory oats work? Do they work in this vehicle? We will find out. I'm giving it a 10 on flavor. It's super delicious. Well, this has been an enlightening challenge, to say the least. Savory oats totally work. You don't have to compartmentalize them in your head as only a breakfast item. It works with all of the mirepoix that we know and love in all other grains. It works great. It really does. And the baked egg brings the whole thing together. It is warm and cozy. It's cold and dry outside. You want to get dinner on the table real quick. So we're going to do apple cider vinegar chicken. Bone-in chicken thighs. They're going to be moist and delicious because they're dark meat and because the bone holds the moisture in. Plus, they're covered in gorgeous skin. And to it, we're going to make some alterations that are going to surprise you a little bit. But they're going to warm you. They're going to comfort you. They're going to be delicious. Chicken in the bowl. Salt. What we're doing is creating a wet brine. When you let salt sit on any meat for a period of time, that's a dry brine. When you add salt and any kind of liquid, it's a wet brine. So we're gonna use apple cider vinegar. It's gonna make it tender, and all the salt that we put is gonna become evenly distributed throughout the liquid. So we're gonna have flavor all the way through the chicken, plus the salt is gonna start breaking down the chicken in addition to the vinegar, which is gonna make it even more moist when we cook it. So much like salting our pasta water, there's gonna be more salt than we normally use because not all this liquid is gonna be absorbed. How about some lemon zest? Get a little bit of citrus in there, you know, so we don't get scurvy. Oftentimes this ends up in the garbage, and it shouldn't because it's got so much more punch than the lemon juice itself. I've got my lemon squeezer right here. Just give it a little twist. I'm not worried about the seeds of the lemon falling into our brine here because we're gonna leave brine behind. Garlic, and we're gonna throw some allspice in there. This is one of those spices that really brings that home, warmy vibe all the way through, you know, full send. To the packet drawer. One of my all-time favorites, crushed red pepper. Oh yeah. Spice to your desired spiciness. Let's cover this. We need time for the salt to get from outside the chicken throughout the entire chicken. And it's gonna take about 2 hours.
All right, I'm gonna let this sit in here, absorb all that flavor.
While that osmotic reaction is happening and the chicken is breaking down so that when we bake it, it becomes so tender, it's like insane, we're gonna make the rest of our dish. I chopped up some in-season root vegetables that will absorb all the flavors of the chicken while cooking in the oven. How can we make them even more winter tasting? With thyme from the herb garden. I will pull, then I will sprinkle them from up high so that they fall like little individual snowflakes. Okay, and now it's time for the pièce de résistance. Our chicken, which has been brining in the fridge.
All right, this is ready to cook.
So our chicken has been wet brining in a solution of apple cider vinegar with some herbs and spices, just to make sure we get an extra crispy skin. Moisture is the enemy of crispiness, and the skin will get crispy. Oil of olive all over it. You don't need a whole lot because we've got chicken skin on the chicken. They're gonna render out schmaltz, Yiddish for chicken fat. Think about the best roasted chickens you've had in your life. They're salted to perfection. Pep, pep, pep. That's it. Now this goes in the oven. Let the homey and toasty aromas commence. How would I describe it? It's sort of like a sharp sweetness. That's the aroma, and I love it. Let's plate this up. So right away, one of my favorite aromas is that of caramelized onions. First of all, the color. Gorgeous. Caramelized root vegetables, a crispy and brown skin. Our root vegetables and apple cider vinegar brined chicken cost $2.87. Let's dig into it. I'm gonna get all the things in one bite. Here we go. I wonder if the actual flavor will match that of the aromas. This is like sweetness with a little bit of zing, that acid, and that's what the vinegar does. It's totally crazy, and that's where this recipe wins, because we got the sweetness, but it's cut by that acidity. It's so good. That has all the flavors you could ever want. It's so awesome. It's simple math, my friends. Cold weather outside needs to be balanced with warm food inside your home and your bellies. A warm breakfast casserole, a delicious soup with popovers, and a juicy sheet tray chicken. Friends, we'll be out of winter before you know it. Stay warm, cook up a storm, struggle on. Welcome to Frankie's Corner, where I answer your questions. Christina asks, what's the equation to follow weight, temperature, timing for a roast? What are some tips and tricks to prevent it from drying out? Christina, if there were an equation, we'd all be mathematicians. But we're not all mathematicians. And unfortunately, there is no equation. Here's the deal. The fat to protein ratio is different in every roast. That affects how long it cooks. And every oven is different. That affects how long it cooks. So really, the only way to get around this problem and make sure that you have a juicy and delicious roast is with a leave-in probe thermometer. I recommend you buy one.